Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to A Matter of Opinion. I'm J77, and this new podcast is just going to be part of the Mirrorstein Publishing channel. We'll be focusing primarily on the events um, and certain rumors and certain topics and even certain rules regarding the World Wide Web. So anything that's going on in the internet, anything that is pretty much happening around YouTube or around Twitter or around Facebook or just pretty much in general that's something to do with social media, most likely you'll hear it from here. These are pretty much an opinionated topic. It's not based on any factual thing. This is something that's happened. You can actually, it's documented. You can actually look it up, so, see other videos and regarding this issue. I will even leave links to certain channels that talked about this issue, so you get a better feel of what's going on. But make no mistake about it, I'm sharing my personal opinion on some of the topic that has been pretty much a hot button in the World Wide Web. And as always, you don't have to agree with me. In fact, I encourage you all to give your own opinion on the matter through the comment section. I would love to have that open dialogue. If you're a Matic Expression, the same thing goes with you guys. Open up the dialogue for the comment section. Even share the video if you feel that it needs to be shared. One thing I will say about this is that when you hear something topic coming in here, most likely it's something very serious. And I do have two things I wanted to talk about because the way things is going, especially if this lawsuit happened, it could affect our so-called freedom of speech on the World Wide Web. And I say so-called because I think people seem to throw that out there, not realizing that there are things you simply cannot say or do, regardless of what many people think. But people still believe that they can just post any video up there and not have the feds be on their throats or say something that can be deemed a terrorist threat. And this situation here with Twitter, in case nobody haven't heard, and if this lawsuit goes through, you might want to take a closer eye on this because it can actually affect the do's and don'ts on Twitter and on Facebook, and it's even on YouTube for that matter, in terms of what goes on. I'm gonna give you my own opinion. I'm pretty much playing devil advocate. I can understand both sides of the coin here, but I also want to bring up the situation I think everybody is aware of. The internet is a large scope, and what Twitter is doing is nothing compared to a lot of sites we don't know about and is more scarier than somebody tweeting a microblog on the social media network. But I'm gonna get to that. I'm also gonna get to the Fine Brothers because the Fine Brothers issue, which is now slowly but surely starting to simmer down, especially after they have made an announcement that they are backing off from their attempts. And for those who don't know what's going on, the Fine Brothers have made an announcement and also have made it in a way that was a bit condescending and also just downright greedy. This didn't vote well with their fan base, and they actually lost a lot of subscribers within a 24-hour span, to the point where they had to withdraw their original plan. And I'm gonna get to what they did so wrong in this situation and why I felt that it was all about money. There's no ifs or buts around it. There's no way to put it. They did a lot of things, so many things wrong, but at least one thing I can say is it opens the dialogue again on the already bad situation that's going on YouTube. It is crystal clear that some changes and some guidelines and some updates to the laws that are currently on the books that needs to be addressed to really deal with the Wild West, which I consider to be the World Wide Web. So those are going to be talking about right now. But I want to get real quickly on a situation that is being discussed. The FBI has also, and local law enforcement also looking into it. And I would think that after hearing some of the instances that has happened in the last few years, you would think people would be wised up and not post videos that show their criminal activity on the web. But obviously, I was wrong. And then, you know, and what bothers me about it is this happened in New Jersey. Somebody had posted a video of of a person just walking up to another guy, punching him in the face, knocking him unconscious, while the person who was videotaping it had egged him on. Now this made the news. This is pretty much. I think this is local. I'm not too sure if the international have grabbed a hold of it. You probably heard of it in certain websites. But now the local officials are trying to tap into who posted that video, when this took place, and the motive behind it. We all know what the motive behind this. The motive is very clear. They wanted to get recognition. A lot of these videos who do this, and again, it bothers the mind. This is one of the reasons why I don't go to World Star Hip Hop for that very reason. A lot of these guys want attention. They want to be recognized. They want to show this type of this type of behavior because they believe that it gives them video recognition. Well, you should look back. Those who are thinking about doing this, you should look at the documentaries of all these people who have done this. Even those who never thought in a million years they would get caught for throwing a cat into the river, from encouraging kids to fight just for the video. That happened in New York, and those people actually got caught for doing all sorts of crazy, stupid stuff. I hope you realize that the Fed have every right to say to YouTube, to Google, to any social network, including Facebook, everything else, saying, I want to know that account. I want to know who owns that account. And guess what? If they get a court order and they said they want it, they have no choice but to submit it. This idea that people still have in their head that they are free from prosecution because it's on the World Wide Web, that is simply not true. It's simply not true. Get that off your head. Anything that you are posting, whether it's maybe it's all good fun or not, is always constantly being monitored. It may not be monitored from YouTube. It may not be monitored from those behind Twitter. It may not be monitored by the people who run the channel. But you better believe that the FBI have a special task force to look at these things. They look at the certain tags you do. They look at the certain wordings you do, and they zoom in on what your activities are. Just as the thought. Many people don't know, if you type in the word president and whoever that president is, whether it be Obama or anyone else, that's an automatic red flag. So they're going to look and seeing what you're saying. If it's something threatening, you better believe it's going to knock on your door. A massive thing that I think people need to realize here. Right now, the media had made it very clear this week that they're looking for these people, and they're not going to stop until they find that account. It's very simple for them. All right, here's my warrant. I want that account number. And everybody always talk about they can't do that. Well, they can't do that. That's against, privacy. This is the feds. This is the government. All right, the idea that they can't do anything, that's just simply not the case. They caught so many gang members. They caught so many people doing criminal activities because they keep doing the same mistake again and again and again. They post their activity online. They post what they're gonna do online. They post they even post their criminal stuff online. There are actually a top 10 video. I think it's called Archives, 10 Archives, that show people getting caught by confessing their criminal activity on YouTube. So it does happen. These feds do watch. All right? A lot of stuff goes on. You don't think about it, but once you post it out there that you're going to kill somebody and you're going to give them a date, what makes you think they're not going to come after you? What makes you think they're not going to pursue that? And that's the situation that a lot of these guys do, and it just never fails. I constantly say this again and again. I gotta say it again. Don't be careful what you put online, and stop posting your criminal activity online. Because that's the dumbest thing you're gonna do. Stop thinking that they can't touch you because you post something. They can. If you post something that is considered criminal on Facebook, Facebook's gonna turn into the feds or your local police officer. That's the same way with Twitter. The same thing with YouTube. God knows YouTube how many. You should look at the history of YouTube. They got a lot of them. A lot of them ended up with convictions to some of them. So be mindful of that. Trying to get hits, doing criminal activity just so you can get hit on YouTube is the dumbest thing And really, it's just inexcusable. With that being said, let's move on to the two other topics that I wanted to talk about before this thing goes overblown. I don't want to repeat the same topic because I do have something I want to talk about, get off my chest. I have seen the Fine Brothers video before they took it down. I have seen their response video before they took it down. I don't know if they took down their statement I think they had on their Facebook wall. I know they have it on one of the social media walls, basically explaining the situation after losing millions of subscribers, not thousands but millions. It was a very bad week for the Fine Brothers. It was a very rough week for the Fine Brothers. And yet it was deserved. They deserve every criticism. They deserve every heat they can get because of what they have done. In case you don't know who the Fine Brothers is, the Fine Brothers have a YouTube channel that pretty much have reaction videos. That's where their specialties are. They have a couple of them. Kids react, teens react, adults react, elders react. I don't know if they have the YouTuber. I think that's done by somebody else. For what I understand, it does, but there was another people saying they don't. So I don't want to say that that's also part of theirs. But you get the picture. They have a lot of reaction videos. They've done other stuff as well in the past, but their main goal right now to speak is within the reaction genre that's been going on of late on YouTube. And the reaction genre has been going on even before they came into the picture, but they have became the most famous for doing it. Well, a lot of stuff has happened, pretty much behind the scenes as well as what we have known now. And basically, what it is that the Fine Brothers feel that a lot of people out there, who these people are, I do not know, has been copying their style. That has been mimicking what they've been doing, and they took offense by it. One of the people who they actually went after, not just basically complained, went after, was Ella DeGenerate. There has been known factors that they actually went after fellow YouTubers as well. This also led to what would have been an interesting merger known as React World. Now, React World, from what I understood there from their video, was supposed to be this third party thing that Maker Studios have gotten, along with Machinima, along with a lot of other third party networks out there. And what they was trying to say is that they was gonna, allow reaction video makers to use their liking in exchange for revenue sharing. This also goes into the situation that they were supposed to give them, special perks. Even though when I read up on it, and even though Review Tech USA have also done his homework on, it didn't seem like much. But once they said that the reasoning behind it is because they're getting upset that they keep getting ripped off, and they got upset at getting ripped off. That's when I realized what was really going down. And after that video, which by the way had the most negative hits out of all of their reaction videos combined, people started looking into the situation, and what they found was very disturbing and even offensive. First off, I don't care if a certain company or organization wants to brand their product. I didn't really have no big deal of them, trying to get a trademark for Kids React, Ellis React, even the Fine Brothers name itself. That's fine. I don't care. You know what? You're not going to be the only YouTube that has that. So be it. I'm pretty sure Angry Joe, Review Tech USA, and a lot of other popular YouTube channels that I follow have probably done the same thing. I have no issue with that, especially when it's very easy to take a product and try to use something similar to what they're liking. Bootleggers do that all the time. Sometimes they get sued. Sometimes they win the case because even though we obviously know what they're doing, we have to literally prove that that symbol or that name, which they oftentimes try to change the name but keep part of the symbol, is designed to bring confusion to the customers. Keep in mind, Asylum, which had a couple of lawsuits already with some of their movie that came out, have done the same thing. And trust me, they've been hit a lot with big major Hollywood in terms of the films they have come out because it's too similar to the original. Transmorphers is a perfect example of that. And even the movie that they was forced to change the day the Earth just stopped, I think they call it. So I understand their frustration. Even Jeremy Johns, when he started coming out, somebody uses his name, and it wasn't even a movie review. They just used the name Jeremy Johns just to get hits. So I get it. I understand why they want to protect their name and protect their assets. The problem was the fact that they want to claim a word called React. And that sparked even more anger between the fans, the YouTube community, which spoke in droves. I never seen so many anger against a particular YouTuber in a long, long time. This pretty much resulted into them making a response video. Now, I saw the response video, and I felt that they didn't get it. I felt they didn't understand why there was anger between the community. And before I get to that, let me explain the major problem here. All right, and this is pretty much why research is very important, especially when you see something like that, when somebody make an announcement like that on a channel. And I've heard every argument from everyone who spoke out against the Fine Brothers, what they was doing. The word react is a word. No one can take claim of a word. They tried this. And if say what, and for the record, and before I go on, they was going to lose regardless. They tried to submit it. Nothing got approved, and it wasn't going to get approved. All right, because of the fact is, you was trying to take a word that mostly everybody used anyway, and the fact is, it just didn't make any sense. You can't claim a word. You can if you have like a name of a trademark, like say Coca-Cola, that's different because that's your trademark name, that's your brand. All right, Coca-Cola soda is your brand. The Fine Brothers, it can be considered a brand because that's their YouTube channel, and then anything that falls under that, if you want to trademark that, that's fine. They wanted to trademark a word. Have this gone through, which again I say it would never have gone through because the states will never let nobody claim a word. Just like the same thing with PlayStation. I just want to keep that at real and keep everybody knows what I'm talking about. Those who are gamers try to take claim to Let's Play. It's the same thing. You can't take a claim to a word. They want to take claim to a particular word, which if they would have gotten that, could have caused huge damaging effects. That will give them more power to go after people who may not even have the same style as they are, but if they had like a reaction video, or just have the word react, that will give them justification to go after them, claiming they're stealing our ideas or stealing our work. Which, by the way, will lead me to one of the reasons why I had a big beef with what they were doing, and why they really don't get no sympathy with me in terms of the fan base. Now, keep in mind, I've seen their videos. I have watched their videos. I thought they was good. I thought they was good and entertaining. The reaction videos they have is fun. It's very short and to the point. You see the reactions, and after then they have a discussion. It's not bad. I have no problem with that. I think they do a good job with in terms of their genre. However, they don't own that genre. They can't take claim of something that's been around for years. And like I said, other people on YouTube, other people have brought this out to the point where if you go back, especially in my era when I was watching America's Funniest Home Videos, that is a reaction show. You're reacting to the videos that we're seeing. They are amateur videos, home videos, and they're funny, and they pretty much give you a raw reaction. The same thing goes with a lot of products out there like Sister Science Theater, which is basically a reaction done in a comedy sense. That's been around before the Fine Brothers started doing reaction videos. Even reaction videos or reaction shows such as Who Line Is This Anyway has been around even before YouTube has been around. So the idea that they can just come along and say we're going to take claim to something that they don't own is just ludicrous and not just downright stupid. You want to brand your product? Fine, brand the Fine Brothers, but don't try and act like that everybody is copying over you. When in terms, reaction videos has been around before you. YouTube has been around a good minute. You haven't. I'm being real, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of people can show examples of reaction videos well before you got into the picture. So the main reason why they did this, it was very, very clear, is they was trying to squeeze the competition. They did not want the competition. The competition was getting very, very deep. Reaction videos are more widespread now than it has ever been within the past 3 years. There are other popular reaction video channels. I can name you two of them that I follow. One of them I actually like very, very much, and that's Renegades React. That's a thing I think is more scale for me, and I actually enjoy that. But so now imagine, I'm gonna give you guys Renegade React. Imagine they did a video and they had to take that down, or they get taken down, or get their channel erased because here comes the Fine Brothers saying they took their idea. Even though the idea is completely different, has nothing to do with their reaction or how they do their platform, but because they have the word react and because they're doing reactions to a video, whether it's a nostalgia critic or epic rap battles of history, or just anything that is deemed their what they claim is their style, whether they're guilty or not, they will have the power to tell their lawyers, take that down. We don't want that channel there. And guess what? The way what YouTube is these days, and the way the anger of YouTube happened with terms of how they getting hit with copyright strikes and taking down channels unjustly, who can you get the picture? They will be messed up, and all because the Fine Brothers think they're stealing their idea. And that's the big issue here. Is an abuse waiting to happen? Is a system waiting to happen? And a lot of people are pointing into it. They even made parodies. And kudos to Mega 64 for doing that awesome parody. Because what they said, and I'll leave a link on it below because they deserve props for for bringing out a point in a funny manner. But it is really nothing funny for what the Fine Brother was doing. But this is the situation that it could have happened. And then Mega 67 said it best. They could find them. They can actually bully other channels, even small channels, into shutting down, or basically bully them to do what they want them to do. And it's a very, very poor idea. It's a very, very poor way of handling things. But most importantly, this shows us how greedy they are, because let's be honest, they knew this what it was. They knew this was a business decision. It wasn't to do what one of the Fine Brothers have said. I forgot which one who said it, but they made it clear that they like, oh, this is doing this for the community. The community don't need that. They're doing this for the community. Community do not need it. You trust me. They don't need a third party. Why do they need to go to you to make a reaction video so you can make money off of them? Because that's exactly what it is. And I know people say it's 50%. I don't know what the number is. I'm not going to go out there and speculate. But they're making money, and it's probably more than what it's worth. ViewTech USA had mentioned this about the possibility, the perks of becoming a third-party subscriber, and he said it doesn't justify what they're trying to do. They're just trying to make money. But the one thing that really bothers me out of all of that, because this doesn't shock me, whether you guys know it or not. I know I say it a lot with my things, but this doesn't shock me because of one thing. I've seen this happen time and time again. I mentioned PlayStation trying to copyright Let's Play, and God knows what would have happened if they would have gotten that. A lot of Let's Play channels would have probably been taken down or gotten strikes. Nintendo did something similar that ticked off a lot of gamers, where they was taking down anything that resembled a Nintendo character. If you have a Let's Play and you use a Nintendo product, they will try to take your monetization user that they own or give you strikes, and it has become a nightmare. People got so upset they said, you know what, I'm not gonna play Nintendo no more. Nintendo's too greedy. They want everything. And they was proven right, because no sooner did they start doing all that, all of a sudden they made an announcement that they want to do a share program with YouTube, and those who want to do Let's Play got to go through them, and you got to give them a certain amount of money and go for the restrictions. Nobody want to hear that. That didn't vote well for Nintendo. And if anything, it shows why I will not support Nintendo, because Nintendo is just too greedy for their own good. They could have easily got free advertisement. They could have easily have let the guys play it. Let us see interested, because they feel it's taking it likely. I don't see how it is. I'm not playing the game. It's not like they bootlegging the game, but this is an ongoing debate of what they can and cannot do. Unless players have been hit the most with the strikes. So again, all this stuff is happening, all the business tactics, all the sneaky bullying what business does. This does not shock me. It really does not shock me. What shocked me is having here in the Finder to say, go to these channels, report them, and flag them. Basically telling their fan base to be bullies and trolls and go after any channel that has our likely or do something similar to what we're doing in terms of reaction videos. Who the hell do you guys think you are? That's what bothers me about that. That you're telling your fans to be trolls and hit every channel that that they see that has a reaction video. And I'm saying it like this because your wording was so broad. I was like wondering, what the hell are you guys talking about? That's how broad you were. It's almost like it was cryptic. You go out there, my fans, go out there and attack this channel. Because they're the ones stealing from us. They're the ones stealing our ideas, our original content. Let's get something real straight here. There's nothing original about what you're doing. Let's keep that clear right now. I'm not taking disrespectful to any reaction channels out there. If you guys, that's your thing, God bless you. Go ahead, have some fun. If you want to monetize your stuff, go ahead, have fun. As long as you're not going overboard in terms of abusing fairies, I don't care. Nor should anybody else. But let's get something real straight. You wouldn't have a reaction channel if you didn't have something to react in. In other words, you needed someone else's content to do it. I would understand it more better if your reaction video is something that you guys created. But no, your reaction videos are based on other people's content. If you didn't have the videos to react to, you wouldn't have a show. So the idea that the idea that you guys doing something original, that's a joke right there. I like William Johnson's video. A lot of people get him mad heat because he gotten rich over other people's content. It's a criticism that he had done has to deal with when he was doing Equals 3. People had a big beef with that. That he was making lots and lots of money over something that he shouldn't be making because they said that he's using other people's stuff. Forget about the fact he had another channel that was originally all his stuff, which I actually did like, called My Own Favorite Martian, which he doesn't do anymore because of the third-party situation that he had. But many people had a beef with that. Many people had problems with Toby Turner when he did You Win Fail, another reaction-style channel. Making a lot of money on doing it. A lot of people had a problem with that. But he did what it was good. What he did, they gave good commentary. It was all for entertainment value. And as long as the people who they're doing had a beef, no problem. And trust me, there was some people who had an issue with it. Ray William Johnson had an issue with some of the context he was using. He was given copyright notice. He straightened it out after a while, but trust me, they got hit. Toby Turner less so because he did at one point had a contract with those who actually did America's Funniest Home Videos. But you see what I'm getting at here. In terms of originality, you don't really have much originality. Because when all said and done, your show is nothing without that contact, which you're using. Whether you're using it for permission or not, you're still using it. So to sit there and say somebody's stolen your idea, and I've heard the issue with They're Degenerate. I've heard the people coming forward saying that you actually hit them, asking them to take their video down or try to get it monetized because you thought that they are stealing ideas. I don't know what you were thinking about Ellen DeGeneres for what he was doing. And you encouraged this situation. It's not the first time you've done this, by the way. How you encouraged her to go after Ellen DeGeneres because you felt she was stealing your idea. There was nothing to be stolen because you didn't come up with the idea. And that was the issue. And the fact that you were actually trying to manipulate your fan base, which is very large. At the time, you guys had a big fan base. You got a huge fan base. And you try to tell your fan base to basically troll another channel, I have a serious problem with that. You want to know why I don't have a like the flag system? This is the one of the reasons. And then, trust me, you're not the only ones who've done it. Trust me, I've seen other YouTubers do this when they don't like somebody's opinion. They figure that the best way to shut somebody up is to go after their channel and flag it till there's no more. Or give marching orders because they felt they're doing the channel a favor by attacking those who don't like this guy. You know how there always been that beef between channels? This is the kind of nonsense that I do not never approve. And I thought the fine would be better than that. You don't send your fan to do your dirty work. You don't do that. And that was the thing you did. You send your fan to do your dirty work. That was the main beef I had. Because on the business side of the whole thing is, this doesn't shock me at all. But what you did in terms of telling your fans to go on and troll this guy and go down there and flag this guy and make sure you do enough to shut them down, that's what bothers me. Now, I gotta give the fans credit. I gotta give the YouTube subscribers on that channel credit. They didn't buy into that. Some probably did, but a majority of you guys didn't buy into it. And you let the Fines Brothers have it, and rightfully so. But that's my main problem here. That's the problem that lingered with me for a while. Because keep in mind, when I saw it, I didn't say a damn thing. I said, you know what, let me just soak this in. Let me hear what they're saying. Let me hear what everybody's saying. Let me get everybody's opinions out. Let me hear their topic. Let me hear their arguments. And then I'll talk about this as part of the new podcast that I'm having here. But that's the beef. That's my issue. That's my issue that I have. If you got a problem, if you believe that you are being robbed, you know what? Do it the right way. I'd rather prefer you do it than sending your fan base to do it. Because that's not right. You never send your fan base to do something like that. And the fact is, you were so broad, they could have just attacked anyone who does reaction reviews. Oh, they're commenting the fine, but they flagged him. Because you were so broad, I didn't know what the hell you were talking about. People, who is people? I mean, come on now. I mean, let's be real here. Now let's get on to the second video that really didn't help the matter. It made the matter a whole lot worse. They sat on the couch. They was talking about responding to the negative feedback. They were saying that they're not going to use this to go after other channels, which I automatically knew that was a lie because why? You had a history. History is documented. People have actually brought this up on their channels. You went after channels before. You went after channels before. You went after Ellen DeGeneres for peace sakes. So to say that you're not going to go after people's channels, nobody's buying that. That was the one. But then you try to compare YouTube video making to fast food for some reason. And I get what you were saying and to a degree, but I want to let everybody know, especially someone who took business management and accounting as a major in college, that franchise owning is not for everybody, and neither is third-party videos. There's the reason why Ray William Johnson and Maker Studios don't get along anymore. The reason why he went out of his contract. It's not for everybody. And if you are a person who's making lots of money just by yourself with your videos alone, why the hell would you want a third party anyway? All they're going to do is take a good portion of your money. Yeah, you may get the backing support of a lawyer. Maybe you get support in case somebody comes after you. You will actually get the backing of their attorneys. You may actually get more resources depending on the third party. But in reality is, if you're fine with doing what you're doing and you're doing fine in terms of revenue, and you never had really a problem actually getting in contact with freaking YouTube when the time comes, why the hell would you want to do a third party for? There are many out there who's doing just fine by themselves. And those who do have third parties, you do hear the precs from one side. You do hear why they went there and why it benefits them. But you also hear a lot of the cons on some sides where their contract was not what they thought it was. And they're looking to get out of their contract. And they felt that it was giving them more money than what they was earning. You hear it a lot. And the video holding sites, I got news for you. It's not the same anymore. No disrespect to Channel Awesome, but not many people is going to Channel Awesome for the exposure. It's one of the reasons why they try to do their own thing now. Those days have faded out. They're still out there, but a good majority of video makers and bloggers are doing their own thing on their own time, with or without the hosting sites. Because they got their own thing to do. They got their own lives to do. They got to make their own bread in many ways. And a lot of people feel like this. Why should I go put a video for somebody else to make money? I'm not even getting any money for it. I got to get mine. Can't knock that. So when you sit there and try to compare a restaurant towards that, I listened and said, you're not making no sense, man. You know that. Because one, franchise owning is not for everybody. Many people would prefer having your own restaurant business because they don't have to deal with the politics of being a franchise owner, because there's a lot of politics involved, a lot of responsibility. And I got news for you, not everybody can do it. And also, same vice versa, not every franchise will take anyone. You need to have a lot of money, you need to have a lot of time, you need to go for a lot of rules, you need to buy their stuff. They will give you the backup support, meaning that you will get commercials. They will pay for that because, number one, they want to make sure to promote your business. They'll give you all the stuff to participate in special deals and special promotional items. But there's a lot of other things you have to do, and many people just don't want to deal with that. They don't want to deal with the nonsense that goes with being a franchise owner. Just like a lot of people don't want to deal with the nonsense of being part of a third party sponsorship. They just don't. Now there are many people who does fine. I'm pretty sure that that the Smos do okay with Machinima. I'm pretty sure that there are a lot. I'm damn sure that Epic Rap Battle History got a good relationship with Maker Studios. I couldn't see why not. But not everybody is that fortunate. It's a very small scale of that. And they question because they want to do React World, which is no longer in existence. I'll get that in a second. They wanted to bind everyone, pretty much those who are making reaction reviews, reaction videos, and basically they will have their liking of the Fine Brothers, but they will have to share the revenue sharing. Now again, somebody said it was 50%. I don't know if that's true or not. But the point is, whether it's 50, 40, or 30, it doesn't really matter. The point is, they got to go through you to put those videos. And the stuff that they have to go through, I'll be honest with you, it's just not justified. But the point is, that second video didn't really give us much, except you're trying to, sell us this idea that is best for them. Then you're trying to say you're trying to protect your product. Okay, trademark your product. Trademark the Fine Brothers. If you want to say Kids React as a show and all this stuff, that's fine. But don't try and be slow any further and try and say that you're not trying to attack the other videos, reaction videos, because that's what you was doing. And if you wasn't doing that, why would you felt the need to try and, take claim to the word React itself? And as I did say, we're not going to do all this kind of stuff. Well, you don't need to do all that stuff. The lawyers can do it for you. Your hand could be totally clean, the whole thing. Your lawyers, once they see that, well, we think this is a pretty good flag, hit that, or hit this. And your hand could be very clean. You can say, I don't know what's going on. And despite the rumors that that's also happened, that you actually closed down a channel that was before what you was doing with Elders React or Senior Citizen React, where that channel just disappeared to oblivion, and all of a sudden you guys came up with Elders React, and everybody's linking it to you. The idea that you're not going to go after small channels or bully other channels is highly unlikely. And again, people saw right through it. To the point where you were forced to make a total 360 because you were losing subscribers. And a lot of them have abandoned ship. Now, I said that before. If it was like 8,000 or 10,000, even 20, even 40,000 subscribers, I don't think you would have budged. You would have went through this process. You would have went through with it. We wouldn't even heard a peep. And you would have probably stuck with your guns. But you lost 1 million. And it was still counting. You was getting negative comments after negative comments, and you was trying to do damage control by deleting some of these comments, which, by the way, didn't help your cause at all, because all it did was make people even more angrier. More angry than what they once were if you haven't deleted it. But you did that. You was doing serious damage control, and all you was doing is putting more salt to the wound. And once you saw that you were losing millions, not thousands of subscribers, that's when you started to react. That's when you started posting that message on one of your social websites saying, we're doing about face. We now understand. We apologize. We understand that this can, although our intention was pure, we understand that we cannot guarantee that this will not be used to abuse other channels. You said you was going to relinquish trying to copyright the word react as well as other things you have. You also said that you were also abandoning the copyright claims against other channels. You also said that you're trying to make this work. And according to a lot of reports that you guys plan to do a response video. Now, I don't know if you have done it yet. I will be checking. But these all stem not because you had to change a heart, but because you started to lose money. You started to lose subscribers. And you want to stop the bleeding as much as possible. That's why you did what you did. All the negativity, both from other YouTubers, plus the comment section, and the loss of subscription, to the point where people actually posted a live stream of how many subscribers you was losing on a day-to-day, minute-by-minute basis. I couldn't believe that. That's the first time I've ever seen something like that, where a YouTuber posted a live stream on the counter alone, and people was watching this. I couldn't believe it. But then again, when stuff like that happens, why am I surprised? Why should I be surprised? Again, I give credit where credit's due. I think the fan base made an impact. The fan base was not the puppets here, because they really did thought that the fan base was just going to give, oh yes, we got to defend the Fine Brothers. We got to go after those who are making other reaction videos. No, they see right through it. And with the situation with YouTube, again, I got to repeat this, because YouTube is going through a whole lot of problems right now. I said this before with Channel Awesome, and how they've been hit with a strike, how their monetization is going on, to other channels getting shut down, to other channels getting hit by strikes too. It's a serious situation going on. And the fact you guys coming in here trying to profit over something you have no reason to profit over, trying to take claim of something you had no business taking claim of, and trying to pretend that this is for the community when it really is about the money dollar, was pretty much the last straw. That's pretty much the last straw for a lot of fans. Now, I don't know if they're going to make another video of that. I don't think they would, not anytime soon. I just think they're trying to focus on damage control. But if anything I can get out of this is the fact that now I think people are starting to realize just how broken the copyright laws and the fair use laws are when it comes to social media networking. And how much we seriously need to encourage our politicians to take a closer look at these laws. What fair use applies in terms of the internet. Because a lot of people say they want to throw that up, that the fair use laws is there. But we got to ask ourselves, what year was these rules made? And does it really apply to the internet? Because if the rules are there, no one's following it. Let's be honest right now. The abuse has become more rapid. And YouTube, which is basically not doing anything about it. They're thumbing their fingers and allowing this abuse to continue to take place again. And it's very clear that big and small channels are being affected by it, and not in a good way. So yeah, I'm gonna say it right now: the copyright rules and the fair use rules has to be upgraded for the internet. Especially towards the video sharing network sites, the Twitter, the Facebook. It has to be. more so for the protection of those who are posting online. Once we get those rules established, once everybody see the rules established, and once his Congress have may update these rules, we now know this is what we can do, this is what we cannot do. If we post a movie, it better be ours, otherwise it will be taken down. If we got permission to use a particular song, who do we talk to and who we submit the letter of approval? Customer service should be a mandatory for all social sites. There should be no reason why I cannot talk to a lot of customer service about it. No reason whatsoever. This animation thing ain't working. There should be more grounds, and there should be penalties for those who make false claims. Because it's getting to the point where it's too many of them. And a lot of them are just out of spite. So if anything that came good out of this, is the fact it brought attention of just how much YouTube have changed and how much we need to have rules that reflects these changes. Take my word for it. If this was money was not an issue, the Fine Brothers would never have to make this video because money is not an issue. Just like a lot of other people who attempt to do the same crap over and over again. That's why I'm not this deep into the Fine Brothers nonsense, because they're doing what a lot of these bigger corporations have been trying to do for the past few years. And it doesn't give them good graces on the very people who have once was a big fan of their products. It really don't. But this is what it is. It's a money issue. It's a money thing. And the monetizations gives a lot of these channels, whether you agree with it or not, money. And because of that, those who would probably never say anything about it. I'm guarantee you, if Nintendo didn't think that these Let's Players was making money, they wouldn't even bother with that. But because the money is involved, now there's an issue, and they want a piece of that, whether they earn it or not. The Fine Brothers is no different. They feel they're entitled to everybody's money because they felt they were the originators of reaction videos, which they're not. Now, they did apologize. How you take this apology, I don't know. Would you go back to them? I don't know. But I do know one thing. I do know that the Fine Brothers need to really do some extra hard work to get back into the good graces of some of those fans they lost, even to some of the fans they have. Because it's not just the fan base, it's the whole entire YouTube community. Those who are big channels got on them. It was a very, very terrible move and showed the greediness of what they were trying to do. It just did. I'll leave that for you guys to spread your opinion on. I will leave it for you guys to talk about, because it is a very serious topic, and I want your opinion on this. If you even have videos that is related to this situation, or even update videos, please share it with me. I'll look at it. I want your opinion on this. But this is serious, gentlemen. Some of you guys may actually agree with what they did. Fine. Give me a reason. I'd like to hear your opinion on this. I love sharing opinions. But the days, I won't think I'll say this. The days of YouTube being a community like the old days is pretty much gone and not coming back. And it really is become a more serious business for those out there who is monetizing, or those who have the fan base. Unfortunately, we're going to see this kind of face again. This is not the first, not going to be the last. And the Fine Brothers just proved that. It's just living proof of that. Now let's get on to the last topic I'm going to talk about on this show, because it's a very important topic. It has to do with ISIS. It has to do with one of their victims and the families, and a lawsuit that may actually hit the courts. It's not official yet. They are filing. And it involves Twitter. They believe that the families of a soldier who was killed by ISIS is suing Twitter because they believe that Twitter is allowing ISIS to spread their propaganda of hate on their site. Now, I disagree with this for one reason. I feel that, and by the way, the main, if you guys saw, will watch NBC, I believe it's going to be on Sunday. Sunday or Monday. I'm pretty sure it's going to be one of those 2 days. I got to double check it. I will probably put the update on there because it's very important to see this. The reason why I say that is because they don't just use Twitter. There are people, there are ISIS, they use Facebook, YouTube, and they use another websites that you probably don't even know existed. So the idea that just targeting Twitter is a bit unfair considering just how many networks out there they use that we have not known about. Twitter seems to be the most one because you constantly hear the word Twitter when it comes to ISIS. They tweet things and they tweet it to us, their followers, or send decrypted messages through these sites because Twitter is one of the big sites next to Facebook and YouTube, of course. The reason that I say this again is that again, I feel for the family. The fact that they lost their son is something I really can't put the words. We do have a serious situation with terrorism. We do have a serious situation with the rhetoric they put into it, and the propaganda of them, spreading their word of hate and destruction, while at the same time trying to recruit people via online or through the videos that they have often post. Here's the issue here. And this is again going to bring, this is very important. I think people need to follow because it will put our amendment at the test. What can Twitter do and how much can they do it without stomping on the rights of our free speech, which everybody seems to feel that we have on these social sites anyway. What will be deemed? How do you really deem something that is simply just a conversation towards something that is clearly is a terrorist act or a terrorist message that's being done? What do you constitute as being a terrorist message? And I know a lot of people saying it's very simple. All you need to do is look at the text, and there you go. That's easier said than done because again, the word could be also used in broad ways. Now, if you sit up there and text something saying "I don't like this guy," they can actually look at that as a terrorist threat. Oh, you don't like this guy. He may be up to something. So this is something that Twitter is actually trying to bring out and actually try to be in defense because in their mind, they said they do have people watching this. They do have special spam detectors and they do have people who are engaged into trying to track down and shutting down these things before it gets worse. You also have the feds involved. The feds are always going to be involved and looking into these videos, even the other videos that have surfaced only to disappear on YouTube. So they're all people looking into the situation. So it's not just again to go after this Twitter. You really got to take a look at it. Is it really just Twitter that they're doing this, and are they the main culprit? My opinion, no. And again, it has to do with a special that I'm kind of glad that's being done on CBS, and that is the dark web. Now, for those who don't know, it's a web that is pretty much one of those hard websites to get because you really got to know the web address, and most importantly, you have to have certain software to do it. And I'm not encouraging no one to do it because the dark web is not all fun and games. In fact, it's considered to be the crime. As a place for where criminals can actually go and be anonymous and share information that is criminal and just basically downright scary. The dark web has been covered by a lot of YouTubers on some channels that I follow. Rob Dyke have talked about this. A couple of archive videos have talked about this. This existed, and NBC and CBS is going to be talking about it. A lot of you guys know it simply as the deep web. So it's the same thing, but these are websites that a lot of activities like this, including terrorist activities, go to. And it's one of those sites that is very hard to take down. There has been reports that the federal government has been trying to take a lot of these sites down, and every time they take a lot of these sites down, some new sites come right back up. So it's not that it ain't that cut and dry. for the feds to just go in and just shut them down. There's a lot of stuff that has to happen, especially when it's overseas. There have actually been stories that's been linked to very horrific stories that have been linked to the dark web. There has been even criminal activities where people can buy illegal substance to the dark web, to the point where they can even hire a hitman through the dark web. The dark web is what it says it is. It's not a kiddie ride there, and this is something that our government has been dealing with constantly, day in and day out. Monitor them, trying to shut it down. It is a war out there. Keep in mind, as people like me, we only scratch a fraction of what the World Wide Web really is. The stuff we see on the surface is a small minute to the stuff we don't see, and that's the kind of stuff I don't want to see. It is a very you entering in very dangerous grounds when you go into those websites. Something I would not recommend anyone to do. But this is something that I think that is going to be taken into account when that lawsuit is, because again, Twitter is not the only place that these people spread their word of hate and destruction. It's just not. And I don't know how deep this lawsuit is going to go. I seriously doubt it's going to go as far, because again, you're attacking Twitter, but you're forgetting that there's other websites out there. And unless you can prove that Twitter is the source, the main source of these terrorist activities, the chances that actually getting going through is highly unlikely. It's really don't have. I don't see this having a leg to stand on. But it is a very serious matter, and if in case this does, for whatever reason, gets to go to this, it goes through the court system where a jury and the lawyers will have to fight this. This is something I think many people, no matter how you see it, should take a close look and examine this kind of lawsuit, because if Twitter loses, which is always a possibility when there's lawsuits, if Twitter loses, this could really change everything. Not just for Twitter, but for every social media network out there. Anyone who has a video, anyone who has spoken on Twitter, it can change significantly. Where even your words, where even if you mean to be playful, could be looked at and viewed as an act of terrorism. This could be possible. It also could be possible that new rules and guidelines in terms of what responsibility does Twitter do, or just any social network can do in terms of monitoring, could also have an effect on it. So this is a lawsuit that definitely has the making of changing the scope, but it all depends how far it goes. But I do encourage people to actually keep an eye on this, actually keep a close, steady eye on what will happen here, because again, this is a lawsuit I didn't really expect to see happen. I didn't expect no one to actually file a lawsuit on Twitter because of somebody else's activity. But the argument is that they allowed this to happen. They allowed these activities to spread on their social network, thus being responsible for a lot of recruiters, a lot of these sites to recruit young people or just people to their causes, resulting into terrorist acts, and also resulting into the death of a lot of innocent people. This person, the victim's son, is one of them. So this is the argument that's being thrown out there. Now, Twitter, I'm pretty much sure, is going to go to the defense saying they got the monitors. They do track these type of things, and we are trying to do it without actually stepping on people's First Amendment rights. So again, these are arguments going to be thrown there as well. So Twitter's preparing to defend himself against this. Depending on your view on it, it all depends on how much and how far they can go in terms of the courts. But I really do encourage to keep an eye on that. That's it, guys. That's the first episode. Give me your opinion on this episode. Did you like the format? Didn't like the format? But most importantly, just give me your opinion. The social media is pretty much changing the scope of how we get our information. Our information is no longer the newspapers. It's no longer the standard television where we look at it. Most of us now are getting information through the World Wide Web, whether it's for our cell phones or smartphones, if you want to call it that, our tablets, our computers. We're getting it in a way that is no longer what we used to give it, or what our kids used to, our family used to get it during the time. This is the digital age, and a lot of information, especially those that are not censored or kept from us, we get it from the World Wide Web. Now, some of it could be genuine, and some of it could not be. It really all depends on where you're getting your information from. But no, make no mistake about it. The World Wide Web is playing a big role in information gathering, and it's going to continue for years to come. So, with that being said, we need to keep an eye on the changes as well as some things that affect us within the World Wide Web. With that being said, that's all I got to say for now. If you guys again have any comments, I would appreciate it. Put it in the comment section. I want to thank everybody for joining this show. And as always, this is J77 saying take care, be safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.